What's up, guys? We're back for week 3 of the SwampCast pregame show. And this week we play USF. We're favored by 17.5. If I'm not mistaken, correct, Dylan?
Yes, sir. 17.5 is last I saw.
Are you surprised that they're not ranked after beating Boise State?
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought that they would be ranked. I think considering that Boise was 25, maybe the committees kind of just decided they weren't very good. But I was definitely a little surprised by that.
Because I thought they were going to be at least 24, 25. Look at the jump FSU took. They were not ranked in their number 14.
There was a lot of questionable stuff going on there. I'll say that.
In terms of key points from Billy Napier's press conference on Wednesday, were there any key points? Are there any players expected to be back, or do we still have the same injury list? Did he open up about that? Because I know he doesn't have to say anything until next week.
Yeah, I mean, he loves to not tell us too much. That's one of his favorite things to do. I know it was a little bit of a shorter press conference. You know, I think we ran a little late, so it was a little shorter. But he did mention Caleb Banks. He said Caleb Banks, from what it sounded like to me, Caleb Banks is going to be good to go. He basically said, you know, he's right there getting ready to go. So I think we can expect Caleb Banks. That was the main guy he mentioned. He didn't really mention, you know, Dallas Wilson too much. He didn't mention Pup Howard. He didn't mention, you know, a couple other guys, Aiden Mizell. But I personally, you know, I mentioned Caleb Banks. I think we see Caleb Banks out there. I think we get a couple of these guys back. I mentioned it last show. I think that they kind of held some people out because it wasn't, you know, it was LIU. It wasn't a huge opponent.
Correct.
I think USF showed us last week that, you know, you're probably going to need everyone to at least, you know, do what you're supposed to do out there against them. So I think we'll see a lot more players healthy this week.
Do you think we're not going to see Dallas Wilson until LSU week?
I don't know. I'm tempted, you know. Obviously, I'm going off of what I know, which is not very much. But I'd be tempted, if he's healthy enough to play him this week, just because I don't think I'm comfortable running out Dallas Wilson for a lot of snaps, a true freshman in Death Valley week 3, in a matchup that, if Florida takes care of business and LSU takes care of business this week, is going to be, you know, one of those top 10.
Yep.
Top 10. Hopefully Florida can get in there, but, you know, one of those top 10 matchups. So I would really love for him to get some playing time this week, just so you're comfortable throwing him out there next week. We'll have to see.
After what we saw from BB3, can you expect 1,000 yards from BB3 or to break 1,000 yards? Because to me, he sounds like he's the number one wide receiver right now.
Yeah, that's a big takeaway from week 1 that a lot of people are coming away with, is that Vernell Brown III is wide receiver 1. I personally am not there yet. I mean, I don't want to come out here and, you know, talk down on Vernell Brown III, because he is an incredible talent. We saw it that week. We've been hearing about it all camp. But I'm still on the side that Eugene Wilson and J. Michael Sturdivant are the 2 big wide receivers for this room. And I think Eugene and Dallas Wilson are the next 2. When Dallas is healthy, we'll see, you know, who really takes over. I think Vernell Brown has already gotten a kind of a head start on earning that wide receiver 3 job. So I mean, in my projections, I projected J. Mike not even to earn 900 yards. I projected Eugene not even to earn 800. Yeah. I had him around 800. Yeah. I don't think I'm still standing with, I don't think a wide receiver gets there, just because it's not a bad thing. You look at how talented this wide receiver room is. I mean, I just mentioned J. Mike, Eugene, Vernell Brown, and Dallas Wilson. Those are 4 wide receivers that I think are talented enough that they could, you know, push for that mark if they were a 1. But that's 4 wide receivers. They all got to get the ball. I think it will be tough for anyone to reach that number. I think Vernell Brown, I mean, my projections, I had Vernell around 200 yards. I think he's going to blow that out of the water.
He's going to blow it out of the water.
Yeah, I mean, he came out more special than I even expected. I expected him to be really good. I mean, I mentioned it before that I thought that, you know, because of Dallas Wilson, he was kind of underrated because Dallas Wilson was the talk of town. But, I mean, I didn't expect him to be this good. So, I don't think 1,000 yards is there for him, but I definitely can see him hitting. It really just depends on, you know, how much playing time he can earn and how long that if Dallas is out for, even the next 2 games, that could be huge for him in reaching, even the 500 mark. But I think when they're all healthy, it will be an amazing offense, but I don't think the statistics coming out of it will be, eye-opening.
I got you. Did EW Eugene get hurt last week? Because I didn't see him that much. At least I don't know if it's me or if he got thrown the ball that much. I think he only had 1 or 2 catches, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he ended up having 5 catches for -4 yards. That was where it was the problem, is he had the -4 yards.
Okay, because I was like, I didn't see him a lot on the screen, so.
Yeah, he's all good. He talked at the media day on Monday. He scored a touchdown, which was exciting. And I even asked Billy Napier a question. I basically said, he scored a touchdown. It was nice to have him back out there, but he had -4 yards. How much is it, a priority to kind of get him going downfield? And Napier kind of wrote it up to, they were having him run routes downfield, and maybe he was just, drawing coverage more for the other guys. So he basically said that we'll see him downfield more in the future. I think they really were trying to get him the ball. I mean, 5 catches, and most of them were screen passes. Most of them were behind the line of scrimmage. So I think it was a little odd to see him, struggle so much, knowing how electric he is with the ball. But at the same time, I mean, Billy Napier mentioned a lot of those screen passes were there's a lot that goes into making a screen pass successful like that. A lot of them were RPOs where he questioned if the quarterback should have even thrown the ball to him or if he should have just handed it off. So I think we see him, back this week. I think he kind of, gets right back on track. Obviously, that touchdown was incredible. I mean, that catch was amazing. We know how talented he is, so I'd expect a big week from him and, moving forward.
Another guy off this question that just came up into my head that didn't get the ball much was J. Michael Stewart event. I saw him blocking, but how many targets did he have? Did he have any targets?
Yeah, he scored a touchdown too. He had 1 catch, and it was the touchdown.
Oh yeah.
He made an impact. He had a deep PI. They called a defensive pass interference on a play where he was running up the seam. So I think, with LIU, it was a lot of getting the young guys in there. Yeah. I mean, you look at the stat sheet. Vernell Brown balled out, right? He only had 3 catches for 79 yards. So it wasn't like, everyone was, eating out there, I would say. I mean, the best, weren't eating. Yeah, the best statistical game out of that game was Jaden Baugh, and I mean he played a half. So I really think that it was more of just seeing the young guys. I mean, seeing guys like his name is escaping me right now. Number 4, Adams, Tawaski Adams, TJ Abrams. Yeah, he made some plays out there. Seeing guys like him, seeing guys like Muse. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. I still struggle with that one. But
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's a good ball player too. So, I mean, it was tough for the top options because they weren't being used necessarily like they will be going forward. But I think it was a good way to see everyone out there.
Do you, from your perspective, do you think the offense was too vanilla, or is that just Billy being Billy? Because it seemed like boring. Like you can tell what was coming. He even did that sweep again. I don't know who it was. It escapes my mind who that play went to, but he did the sweep, and I was like, huh?
Yeah. It's LIU. I think at the end of the day, the fans want one thing, and the program wants another thing, and the team wants another thing. You got to remember that this is them, kind of just working on small things versus a team that they know they can be. I mean, I was watching, I can't remember what video I was watching. Someone mentioned they could have ran 4 verts every play, and they probably would have scored, a touchdown every drive, 3 to 4 plays, right? We had that type of talent discrepancy. Yeah. But it's not, college football is not about that. They still won 55-0. It wasn't like they were, too vanilla where it was a bad game. I think, obviously you would have liked to see more, but I think USF is where you got to start opening it up a little bit. And then LSU is the game where it's go time. You know what I mean? Like that's the game where you throw everything out on the table, even if it's week 3 and it might be on film now. You throw it all out there to beat a team like LSU.
Based on what you saw from USF beating Boise State, do you think they're going to put a fight against us? Because I'm scared if he's too vanilla that we might get in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned it himself. It was actually good for Florida in a way because, if they go out there and they lose to Boise, even if they lose close, it's kind of just like, all right, we got USF coming in. We'll take care of business. That's another easy game. Yes. And now that, they put up big numbers, that catches the attention of the players in the locker room. And I think that's a hard thing with opening up with 2 kind of games where opponents aren't at your level. It's hard to get these guys ready to go, get them pumped up to play the brand of football you want them to play. So I think that win actually plays a favor into UF's hand in waking our guys up and not having them come in and underestimate the opponent. I am still leaning with Florida, handles them pretty easily. We have the talent to do so. I have all the respect in the world for USF's coach. I mean, great coach. He was the OC at Tennessee a couple years ago, and that was when that was in I think Billy's first year, and they scored like 38 points. They had like 500 yards on us. So he could definitely play. He can definitely scheme some stuff up. But I think the talent that we have, this should not be a game. And I also think, that game ended in a blowout, but you watch it back. I mean, it always felt like USF was going to win, but it also felt like Boise gave them that game a lot. There was like 4 fumbles. They let up a fake punt that turned into a touchdown. I think there was a lot of sloppiness from Boise State. I think that's not the type of team that we're used to with them. So I think Florida gets it done pretty strongly.
Knowing Billy's tendencies, how possible is it that we're going to see 5 wide? And I'm not talking 4 wide and a tight end. I'm talking 5 wide and let them loose.
I wouldn't bet on it necessarily. I also think, it'll be interesting if we have our guys out there. Like I mentioned earlier, Dallas Wilson, Aiden Mizell, if they're out there, I think it's more tempting because you just imagine, running out on the field with J. Michael Sturtevant, Eugene Wilson, Vernell Brown, Dallas Wilson, all that. I think we see a lot of empty sets, even if the running backs out wide. I mean, we saw a lot of that in the red zone versus LIU, and it was super successful. So I think we see that. I wouldn't put all my money into 5 wide, but I was on Twitter. I saw Bud Davis. I think that's his name, Bud Davis. He put out something that said barely any teams are running 5 wide in college football right now.
Well, that's true. That's true.
I think it's a bit of a fever dream, a pipe dream that fans have where it's like, oh, think about how cool this would be. But at the end of the day, I mean, Billy Napier is not going to change up his scheme. We know that. And I'm more in favor of his scheme. I think with the talent that we have, his scheme should do well this year. So I don't know how much he's going to throw out 5 wide, but I'm still excited to see what happens.
If we have the whole ball coach, I guarantee we would see 5 wide.
That is a good point, Carlos. That is a good point.
How happy are we that TJ won the number 2 quarterback job? I'm ecstatic because I predicted it.
So. Yeah, no, I'll give you credit for that one. That was a crystal ball. I'm super excited. I know I'm not sure if I said it on our show, but I was telling a couple people before the game, I really wanted to see Trammell out there because, that's the perfect game to see him out there. But I was always thinking that it was Aiden Warner. I mean, it seemed like Aiden Warner kind of was leading for that job. But, I mean, you saw how awesome he looked. I didn't expect him to look that good, personally. I mean, he was a high 3-star, low 4-star out of high school. Obviously, the injury had some effect on that. But I had to go back and watch his tape from high school because I was like, this kid looks like phenomenal. What did I miss?
I remember seeing it.
Yeah, and I went back and looked, and obviously he only had like 2 games his senior year, but that junior year film showed a lot of what he showed out there. Exactly. So I was super excited. I think, there's always a part of me that is a little scared having a true freshman backup quarterback, but I mean, if he's gonna look that good, and if he's gonna look that comfortable, he looked extremely comfortable. The ball, Billy Napier said the ball went where it was supposed to go. So I'm super excited for him. I think, we got some good quarterback play in Florida.
I didn't see no hesitation, no decisions, no should I throw it here or should I throw it there? I didn't see any of that. The ball was gone in like a second or two.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm that arm talent is exceptional too. I mean, that ball
yeah,
was getting there in a hurry.
yep. Um, could we see the famous jump pass now that we have DJ and TJ come back to the Florida squad? Do you think Billy would give them the jump pass?
That I would love to see that. That would be awesome. Do I believe that Billy pulls it out? Probably not. I don't know how realistic it would be too. You got to remember, I'm not gonna talk like I was watching Tebow back then. I wasn't, I was pretty young back then.
Yeah, you
But
were young. You were young,
you
but
got
there's
to
enough
remember
tape to
that,
go around. There's enough tape to
Tebow,
go around to run it. So
yeah, Tebow was a big runner. I think DJ Lagway he's definitely a runner like that, but I think teams are more prepared for him to pass the ball because he's just a phenomenal pocket passer. So I don't know how much it would work, and I don't think Billy's gonna be that unique with his play calls. I mean, you have the talent where you don't really need to be that unique, in my opinion. You get down to the 1 yard line. I would love to see DJ Lagway quarterback sneaky. I think that is always a perfect play. But you can
yeah,
also just turn back to Jaden Ball, who is, I mean, he looked phenomenal against LIU. I think
yeah, yeah.
he might even take a step from last year where he looked amazing. He looked faster. He looked better. So, I mean, you turn back and you give him the ball. I'm guessing you have 4 tries, you're going to score a touchdown. So, I don't know if it's, coming. I'd love to see it, but I also think that Florida will be fine without it.
Did you get to see any surprises or any? Do you have any disappointments from week one? I have none, but the main surprise I expected him to do well, but not week one like he did was obviously VV3.
Yeah, I would say disappointment wise, the O line, watching it back,
Oh yeah,
um there was some stuff where it's this, especially considering this O line is supposed to be one of the best in the nation. They brought back 4 returning starters. Bryce Lovett is supposed to be that 5th guy with experience that you can depend on. He had, not a great game. I mean, we talked about it in the media. They expect him to bounce back. But I think the O-line, especially when you're playing a caliber of opponent like LIU, there shouldn't be that much pressure there. I also think that's why we didn't see a lot of deep, plays, is because that O-line was letting up more pressure than they expected them to. So I think that was my main disappointment. I think Lagway is just so exceptional, and he's such a good player that when he looks human, it's kind of like a little disappointing. I think he was a little rusty. He said that himself, that he had a disappointing game.
yep.
I mean, he ended up incompleting 3 passes and throwing for 3 touchdowns. So it was still a great game, but I think he missed a couple things that he won't miss in the future. But on the surprising side, you mentioned Vernell Brown. I mean, I said it earlier. I had him going for like 200 yards. I did not expect him to come out here so early and be, just a baller like that. But he's been a baller like that his whole life. Other than that, Trammell was pretty solid. I think I left the game super excited for Brandon Bett. Sorry.
Oh
The Baylor
yeah,
transfer.
yeah, the Baylor transfer.
He looked great. I mean, we were missing Caleb Banks. We're kind of worried about that inside D line, presence next to Caleb Banks. Jamari Lyons was a guy that we expected, but Brandon Bett looked phenomenal. We got to talk to him in media. I mean, coming in, there was some, rumors about academic struggles. He missed all last year with academic
I did
struggles.
a video on him.
Yeah, but I mean, he was a talked very well, very respectful kid, and the play on the field was awesome. So I was surprised by him, and I was excited for him.
Based on this is not UF related, but it's college football related. Based on what we saw from Archie, does he deserve all the hype, or is it just a glimpse in his starting career, because this is really his first game per se. He started 3 games, but I wouldn't call him the starter last year. Um, so was it just a blip in his radar as Archie Manning, or are we starting to see a kid that needs more development?
Yeah, I was always kind of on the fence with Arch Manning just because, in high school, I didn't necessarily dive into his film too much. But when you do watch some of the teams he was playing against, I mean, that competition was nasty from what I watched. They were not very good. And then, he gets to Texas and he's immediately like, next up. And we haven't seen it. We still haven't seen it. We saw it in flashes. I mean, we saw it last year in flashes. But even, a lot of people like to talk about DJ Lagway is a lot of, he hasn't proved it yet, but DJ Lagway has proved it tenfold compared to Arch Manning. You know
More
what I
than
mean?
Archie?
Like he's put it on tape. Sorry, what was
Yeah.
that?
I said more than
Yeah,
Archie?
he's put it on. Yeah, definitely. So, the jury's still out on him. I think it's a tough thing to be starting your first real game as the starter against Ohio State. That is super tough. And I don't think he looked good, but I also felt like the play call, they kind of were scared with him a little, which also it makes me concerned about him, because if you're scared going into your first game with Arch Manning, then how much do you trust Arch Manning? It's the same thing at Notre Dame. We saw Notre Dame, they kind of seemed like they didn't trust CJ Carr starting off that game. They threw a bunch of screens, and it's you start questioning. You saw him through all camp. How do you not trust him by now? So I don't know. I think give him some time for sure. Not everyone's going to be DJ Lagway, where he comes out here and he's just flinging the ball all across the field, making like exceptional plays. So I'm still letting it settle, but I'm undecided right now. I haven't been decided for. We haven't seen enough to be decided. You know what I mean?
I understand. Going back to bounce off your comment off CJ Carr, is Archie and CJ Carr, they're getting eaten up by the bright lights, because to me UM did not play well enough to beat Notre Dame, and I'm not scared of UM as I was going into the season. See, I think we can bump the floor with UM. And fans, you can come after me in the comments, but I was not impressed with what you did with Notre Dame.
Yeah, I left feeling kind of the same way, and it's tough because, especially being someone that just graduated from the University of Florida last year, I still struggle with keeping my bias when I'm watching these games. You know what I mean? But I really did feel like, especially at the start of that game, it was insane how much Notre Dame did not trust CJ Carr. Especially, he made one hell of a play. That touchdown pass that he had late in the second quarter, where he did the no-look touchdown. I mean, he looked comfortable. He looked ready to go, but it just felt like they didn't want him, doing anything at all. It kind of felt like they thought that they could just let him throw screens, let him, do nothing, and it'll all be all right. So I think Miami's defense is still being, they're being hyped up like they're back, and last year that was a huge problem and now it's fixed. I wouldn't say all of that. I think there's going to be teams, in the future, and we'll probably be the first one considering their schedule, but
Yes.
there's going to be teams that test that defense way more than Notre Dame did. I'll give them credit. They stopped the run. Jeremiah Love was a non-factor, but there were some plays where Notre Dame was still able to run the ball on them. So it'll be interesting. I left the same way as you, whereas I was not as impressed, I would say, as you would think you would be earning a win like that.
Exactly.
I kind of left more questioning Notre Dame than anything.
And their quarterback, the former Georgia Bulldog, didn't impress me. He basically did what he did at Georgia.
Yeah, I'll give it to Beck. He played a good game. He played a good enough game for them to win.
Yes.
I thought he wasn't anything, special out there,
Exactly.
but he didn't need to be. I think that he got a little save there when CJ Daniels made that catch, because that was even a Miami fan will tell you that was a terrible read. he threw a
Yep.
loft ball right at the
Yep.
safety, and CJ Daniels made a play on it. So we'll see. I mean, I think if he gets pressured a little more, which Notre Dame kind of struggled with, we'll see. If he can, stay as consistent and really win them the games that they want to win.
If he wouldn't have made that one-handed catch, that was an interception.
Yeah. I feel bad for that safety because, I mean, I get what he was looking at. It looked like it was a free interception. I think a lot of people were saying, "Why didn't you lay him out? Just go at the guy." But I don't think anyone expected CJ Daniels to make the catch he did. That was a props where props is due. That was a crazy catch.
Yep. If you could change the top 25, where would your changes be and why?
Yeah, so that's a tough one. Because I don't exactly know what, no one really knows what they're making their decisions based off of. I think I left, my takeaways from it. There was a couple teams, off the top of my head. I thought FSU, and again, I want to keep my bias out of it, but I thought they were too high. I mean, you beat an Alabama team, right? It was an impressive win. I think everyone was hyping up Bama to still be good. But you look back at Bama last year, they were prone to being upset by teams that weren't as good as them. Vandy, Oklahoma. I think, Alabama is more of a question mark now than ever before. So it's crazy to me that they went all the way up to 14 after not being ranked. And It's not like you can argue, oh, well, like they were good last year. We just didn't think they were going to be good. They were 2-10 last year. No matter the fact that they're a whole new team, they were 2-10. I personally need them to prove it more before I put them at 13. I was talking to my FSU friend. He basically was like, that's a blessing because they're considering their schedule. Even if they go off and they lose to Florida, they lose to Clemson, and even if they lose to Miami, they're still probably ranked at the end of the year just because they jumped up over one win. You know what I mean? So
it's just crazy to me. To me, they should have been like 25 at max.
I thought my FSU friend told me they weren't even going to be ranked, and I was telling him I think they'll be ranked top 20 to 25. I thought that was a fair ranking. I think they deserve to be ranked. At 14 is crazy to me. That's one. Another one that I found a little crazy was South Carolina at 10. And this is going to be a little bit of a hot take because South Carolina seems to be a lot of people's favorite teams this year. I've always questioned, South Carolina because they're a good roster. Lenore Sells is a great quarterback. Dylan Stewart is phenomenal. But other than a couple guys, you look at that roster, they lost a few things. And their positions, you can find a lot of holes in those positions. I think we saw it on Sunday. Their wide receiver room, which has a lot of holes, it wasn't very good. I mean, Harbor made some nice plays. I'll give him that part. But I think that's a huge question mark now is who's Sellers going to throw the ball to? I thought that they looked questionable against Virginia Tech, to be quite honest. I think they're getting a lot more respect than they should have for that game. I mean, it was a close game, and I don't think Virginia Tech's going to be that special this year. So I question them at 10 just because they're getting a lot of hype right now, and I didn't see it as much as other people saw it. I think UF has a great case to be over South Carolina right now. I personally think comparing rosters, I think UF has the better roster. I'm with everyone that says UF has to prove it on the field, but so does South Carolina. I mean, they were a really good team last year, but Florida was, just the right around there with them as one of the hottest teams in the nation. So I think that's an interesting one. Like I mentioned earlier, USF not being ranked was a bit crazy to me. I think Alabama should have, if you're going to push FSU all the way up, I don't see how you leave Bama. I mean, I guess you're saying that Bama's still a really good team and FSU is just better, but I think Bama should have dropped at least to the 20s. I can't imagine them not being ranked in the 20s. That was something I didn't like. And then Utah, I was surprised by Utah. Utah comes in at 25, they dominated UCLA, which we're not going to say that UCLA is that good of a program, but Utah looked great. Devon Dampierre, who I mentioned last show, is a baller, super fun to watch. He looked incredible. They looked very hard to beat. I think they'll have a strong chance of winning their conference. And I mean, 25, I thought was a little, disrespectful. I think if I'm ranking them above Bama, personally.
I agree. I totally agree. Okay. This just popped in my head because you mentioned Lenoris Sellers. Who is your comp to Lenoris in the NFL? I have someone in mind, but that person can't throw the out routes correctly. And that's why he's choked in the playoffs. It might be the same person I'm thinking of, but I want to see your comp.
That off the top of my head, comp. So I know this isn't your question, but I personally have been thinking of a comp for college wise, and this might come off as disrespectful to some.
Yes.
Starting off by prefacing, I was a huge Anthony Richardson fan. I thought that Anthony Richardson was a very good college football quarterback. I see a lot of Anthony Richardson. I see a lot. I know it's gonna come off as disrespectful, but listen.
Does he have accuracy issues? Because if he does, I'll give you the comp.
I think we need to see a little more from him, but I think a guy who is going to make that play that is super exciting, and, like Lenore Sells did the other day, broke a sack, was 5 yards back, turned it into a 20-yard run. He has a cannon arm, same way Anthony Richardson did. I think he's had more experience than Anthony Richardson had in college, which might, is what I'm kind of adding to it. I think I think he's a better college quarterback than Anthony Richardson was, but I see a lot of similarities there. In the NFL, I don't know. I can't think of one.
Do you get my comp that I'm thinking of?
I have no idea. I'm excited to hear.
I'll give you a clue. The Baltimore Ravens quarterback.
Oh, Lamar. I can't see Lamar. I don't know. That one, I could see it, but I don't know about that one. I see why, though. I see why. I think Lenore. I'm a Lenore Sellers fan, the same way I was an Anthony Richardson fan. But yeah. I think that a lot of people overlook some of his, things that he needs to get better on just because of the big plays that he makes.
Yes.
And that's the same way that Anthony Richardson was the 4th overall pick when there was a lot of stuff that he needed to fix. And I think Lenoris is better than Anthony Richardson, but I see some similarities there.
When Anthony got picked 4 and I saw all the hype around him, I was like, but the kid had accuracy issues at UF. Why would you make him number 4?
Yeah, I understood it. I mean, that guy, I still stand by it to this day. I would take him number 4 just because his ceiling was insanely high. I think that he was kind of failed in a way at UF, and it wasn't Billy Napier's fault.
I agree with you. They didn't develop him correctly.
He he was in a really bad spot if you think about it. I mean, his first coach, Dan Mullen, refused to play him over Emory Jones, which, some people have their different takes about that. I think he was better quarterback than it. And then Dan Mullen gets fired. Now he has to decide, do I stay at Florida, which is my hometown school, with a new head coach? He does. He only gets 1 year of Billy Napier. It didn't go very well. So I think he kind of had no choice but to go to the NFL, even though he really was not ready for that. So I think he got failed a little. That's my rant on Anthony Richardson. I'm a big Anthony Richardson guy, so I got to cut myself off there. But I think
I got you, and I understand where you're coming from. But I was shocked he was picked number 4 based on his tape. I agree with you. He wasn't developed correctly by either Dan Mullen, and Billy only had him for a year.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I mean, Billy didn't get a chance to really develop him the way he should have. Like I can see DJ being an overall number 1 pick, but he's had a chance to develop the kid. He didn't have a chance with AR.
DJ's on a much better path, definitely. Yeah. I mean, getting that action in year 1 alone is really good for him. So I'm excited.
I agree. Yep. Okay, we're gonna start with the pick'ems because I know we got Thursday night football as of the recording. Even though this is a Saturday pregame, and I know you want to watch Thursday night football.
Hey, go Giants! Go Giants! That's all I got to say about that game.
um, number two. I mean FIU versus FIU at number 2 Penn State.
Yeah, that one is actually more exciting than a lot of people are gonna think. I don't think it's a close game, but we talked about FIU a little bit in last
Yeah.
year's pick
Yeah.
or last week's pick'em. They came
Yeah.
out and they dominated. They dominated, and
Yep.
I mean that's something that's exciting for that program. We also I talked about how I was a little higher on Penn State than others. I know they didn't necessarily dominate Nevada, but
Nope.
I thought that Treybor Pena looked really good. I thought that that USC transfer Hudson, he scored a touchdown. He looked really good. So I'm riding with Penn State. I think it's not close, but I was really excited for FIU, and I'm excited to see how they play against one of the best in the nation.
I want to watch that actually, and I'm glad our game's not early, is it?
4:00, I believe.
Yeah, so we can watch that.
Yes, sir.
San Jose State versus Texas. Number 7
I mean,
Texas.
that one's not too much of a discussion here. Texas.
Yeah.
I think the Arch train you mentioned, does he get back on track? This is the perfect game. If he comes out here and throws for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, every single person is gonna say, "Oh, it was Ohio State. Let's give him a break," and he's gonna be right back up to that hype. So it'll be interesting to see this week. I think they get it done easily.
Game 1 for me is Penn State. Game 2 is Texas. Game 3, the fighting Illini versus the Duke Blue Devils.
Yeah,
and Illinois is ranked 11.
Yeah, this is probably my most intriguing game. If I had to pick, I'd say this is game of the week, just because I think Illinois gets a lot of hype. I mean, I think you said they're 11th. They're right on the cusp of being that top 10 team, despite losing some talent last year. And Duke is in my opinion, one of the more underrated teams in the country. I mean, last year they looked good under Manny Diaz. They pushed some teams. They beat FSU. That was awesome. And this year they bring in Darian Mensah, who in week 1 they struggled out the gate, but once they got going, I think it was a little like we did against LIU. They were playing a little vanilla. Yep. And once they got going, I mean, he looked like an NFL quarterback, in my opinion. So I'm going with Duke here. Big upset. I'm going with Duke. I think Duke has the players to do it. It will be a big upset, but I like Mensah here, and I like Duke.
I don't think Illinois really should be number 11. I think they should not be ranked. So I'm going with Duke myself. I'm even surprised they're ranked 11. I wouldn't have put them in the top 25 based on all the people they lost last year, but that's just me. So I'm going with Duke. Next game. East Tennessee A&M, I think it is. I'm not Tyler, so I don't know all these call letters. My memory, especially if they're small schools. FSU.
Yeah, I got you. I think East Tennessee A&M, which is that's their LIU game. I think this is a blowout. It'll be interesting to see FSU, I guess, continue their momentum, but I mean, this is a blowout. I don't think anyone's watching this game other than FSU.
Yes. I'm picking FSU just like you, so we're still on the same train. This is another marquee matchup, at least in my opinion, because they normally fight each other and play each other tough. Iowa versus Iowa State.
Yeah,
Iowa State is ranked 16th.
This is also an awesome game, like you mentioned. I think Iowa State is the way better team, in my opinion. But like you mentioned, they always play each other tight. I think it will be a defensive battle. I'm excited to see Rocco Beck go out there and play another tough opponent, and I think he's going to look good. I think Iowa State takes this one. But I do imagine Iowa making it a little tough on them.
Based on what I saw in week 0, I'm going Iowa State because I think Iowa lost a lot of talent last year, if I'm not mistaken. So Iowa State it is. Baylor at SMU number 17.
Yeah, this one I feel bad because I picked Baylor last week, and we saw how that went down. I mean,
Yep.
they made Jackson Arnold look like Lamar Jackson. You mentioned Lamar Jackson comp. Jackson Arnold was running all over them. So I think that's the biggest storyline is if Jackson Arnold is going to run all over you like that, what is Kevin Jennings going to do? I mean, that's like that's going to be scary for them. I'm still a big Baylor guy. I like Baylor's talent. But
Yep.
after week 1, I can't pick them to upset. I'm going SMU.
I'm going SMU too, based on what you just said. I was actually going to say that, but they got ran all over last week. So it's like
it was ugly. It was ugly.
Ken versus Indiana. Indiana's ranked 23.
Yeah, Indiana was looking questionable last week. I mean, it was not a close game. It was not a blowout. It was a close game versus Old Dominion, I believe.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's tough. You see what their head coach is saying about the SEC before the season starts, and then he goes out there playing a cupcake, by the way, even though he was talking about it, and they almost lose. So that's interesting. I still think that they'll be a solid team. I really like Elijah Surratt on the outside. Fernando Mendoza is a good football player. So I'm going with them, but I need to see a little more from them if I'm going to, agree that they're ranked because they didn't look very good.
If they lose this game, they should not be ranked. I mean, even if it's tight, they should not be ranked. I'm still going with Indiana for this one, though. But if it's tight and close, drop them out of the top 25 AP.
I agree.
Kent versus Texas Tech University.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas Tech.
And they're ranked 24.
I'm going with Texas Tech. They have a lot of talent this year. Their quarterback, Beren Morton, is a really, really good quarterback. So, I'm going with them. I think this is a blowout. And I think Texas Tech, I'm excited to see what they can do this year.
There's no questions. It's Texas Tech for me, too. I mean, I don't expect Kent to do anything with them. So it's no question. Northwestern State versus Minnesota.
Yeah, this one's interesting because Minnesota was awful against Buffalo, to be quite frank. They were not good. I mean, it wasn't even – I didn't leave the game thinking, wow, Buffalo looked good. Like, I was excited for Buffalo, but they didn't look very good. So it'll be interesting. I think Minnesota wins this one, but I would put it – they're definitely on upset alert considering they just looked bad. You know what I mean?
Yes. I agree with everything you said. I'm not even going to say anything. It's Minnesota for me. Texas Tech for me on the other one. North Carolina State versus University of Virginia.
Yeah, this one's a good game. This might be an upset to some opinion. I haven't looked at the lines. I'm picking NC State. I had NC State last week against ECU. I watched that game. Bailey looked incredible, like he always does. He's a great quarterback. I think he's from South Florida, so I have some familiarity there. He looked really good. I think Hollywood Smothers is a really good running back. I got to see more from their receivers. And on the other side, Chandler Morris is a good quarterback. Virginia, I believe they looked good last week. I didn't watch them, but I believe they handle business. But I'm going with a little bit of an upset here, NC State.
This is a toss-up for me. So I'm gonna pick University of Virginia just for the heck of it because it's a toss-up.
Make it interesting.
It's a toss-up for me. I couldn't pick this one straight up. So I'm gonna do University of Virginia. Central Michigan versus Pitt.
Yeah, I think this is pretty easily Pitt for me. Pitt, they have talent. I haven't really been following them too much, but they have a great running back. They have Eli Holstein. So I'm going Pitt here.
Okay, give me a second because I lost the the
Oh,
schedule.
good.
Yeah, I have it though, so I just had to click back in. UConn versus Syracuse.
Yeah, I'm going Syracuse here. I think last time I was checking the lines, they had it somewhat close. UConn
That's
Syracuse,
interesting.
which I thought was really interesting. I mean, Syracuse did not necessarily look good against Tennessee. Props to Tennessee. I thought it was going to be a close game, and they came out and they blew them out the water. But I still have faith in the Qs. I think Jonte Cook, he looked good. I was excited for Jonte Cook out there. I think they got their quarterback. I was excited for Steve Angeli. He didn't look great, but this is a big bounce back week for them. I think they blow him out.
I didn't pick the last game, so I'm gonna pick Pitt to beat Central Michigan, and I'm gonna pick the Orangemen to run over UConn. I don't expect anything from UConn. Liberty versus JVST.
Yeah, this is one. I'm just going Liberty, just because it's Liberty. They've had success in the past. I wouldn't say I know too much about this game, so I'm heading with Liberty.
I'm going Liberty just for the heck of it. I don't know too much about this game, guys. These are schools I don't generally follow. USU versus Texas A&M, number 19.
Yeah, I'm going with you. I almost said USU for some reason.
I was about to say. He called an upset.
I'm going with Texas A&M. They have a lot of hype this year, and it was a little bit of a close game versus UTSA. I believe they played last week.
Yes.
We'll see. Marcel Reed, from what I saw, looked good, but we'll see with them. I don't know. We'll see when we face them off in Kyle Field.
Field, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas A&M for now.
I'm going Texas A&M for that game too. I have not much to say. It should be a blowout. WCU versus Wake.
Yeah, fun fact about this one. So I write them down before I come on, just so I'm a little prepared.
Oh, okay.
I had WCU written on the paper.
No way.
I crossed it out just because Wake Forest looked so bad last week. They were awful, 10-9 to some school that I've never heard of. It was horrible. I questioned Robbie Ashford starting over, the guy that we had, Deshaun Purdy, at UF to be our backup. I don't know what's going on there. I never thought that Robbie Ashford was a very good college quarterback. And, I mean, he has SEC experience, so give him that. But they looked bad. I really wanted to pick the upset. And then I went over and I did some research on WCU, and they lost last week. They lost last week pretty bad. I will say it's an exciting one because they scored a lot of points in week one. WCU did. Their offense looked good. Their defense just was way worse, and the other team scored a lot of points too. So Wake Forest just won a 10-9 game, so it'll be interesting to see which side wins out. Good offense, bad defense versus good defense, bad offense.
Yeah.
So I ended up going Wake because I'm a coward, but we'll see.
I'm going Wake just because it's Wake. I don't expect anything from WCU, but if Wake plays this bad, I didn't watch Wake's game last week, so I didn't even know they played that bad.
You did yourself a favor. It was a bad game.
So I'm going Wake, guys, just because of the name. Idaho State University versus University of New Mexico.
Yeah, when I saw this game, it was another one where I was tempted because Idaho State looked good against UNLV. I was like, all right, maybe they got something cooking here. So I was like, maybe I'll go, there. And then they lost last week, which was super surprising to me too. Not a very good opponent. So I'm going New Mexico. I believe New Mexico kept it close with Michigan. it wasn't a blowout. I would say it was. I mean, obviously Michigan was a better team, but so I'm leaning toward New Mexico here.
I'm going to lean toward New Mexico based on Idaho State having a bad game. If they have another impressive game, then I'm going to start questioning what the heck happened last week. But I'm going New Mexico. Grambling versus number 1 Ohio State.
Yeah, this one we don't have to spend too much time on. I think I saw a clip come out where Grambling State's coach kind of just said, "We know what's gonna happen," which like that's crazy. I was like, maybe I read a fake quote, but I'm pretty sure it was real. So I'm going Ohio State here.
I'm going Ohio State. There's no question.
I will say that Ohio State's offense for winning versus Texas, that I didn't think their offense looked too good. I mean, Julian's saying he had more plays than Arch, but I think he should be in that same talk with Arch, where it was like, I don't know about that. We'll see with him.
Guys, there's nothing I have to say here. It's number 1 Ohio State versus a pretty much Division II black college. So Ohio State it is. Oklahoma State at number 6 Oregon. This is difficult for me. I don't know about you.
Really? That was not even a thought for me. I picked Oregon. Oregon, it was odd last week. I would call it odd. Mekhi Hughes barely played. I saw something that he transferred over there. He was supposed to be one of the best running backs in the nation. He didn't even, I think he got 1 carry. So that's an odd situation, but I think they're good. I took Oregon pretty clear here.
I'm going to pick Oregon just because of their ranking. But normally Oklahoma State tends to play good against good teams. That's what made it kind of difficult because I remember, may he rest in peace, Gundy. So those days kind of made me kind of question, should I pick the upset? But I'm still going to go with Oregon.
I get it. I think Dante Moore is a good quarterback, so I get it, but I think Oregon gets it done.
So, but I'm still going to say they're going to be in the top 5. Troy, this is no question. This should be over. Troy versus number 8 Clemson.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Clemson bounce back. I didn't catch too much of that LSU Clemson game. I thought that Clemson was going to get it done. They didn't. So, this is, obviously they're going to bounce back versus Troy, but it'll be a good thing to watch, but I'm going Clemson.
I'm going Clemson too. I expect a blowout. Number 20, Ole Miss versus an unranked UK.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people say that this is upset alert. I've been seeing a lot of people leaning Kentucky. I don't think so. I think Kentucky looked really ugly versus Toledo. I watched that game before I went over to the UF game, and it was not a good game for them. I think Zach Calzada has been in college football for like 8 years, and they called a read option on their own 1 yard line, and he kept it and got a safety. And I was like, "You've been in college for 7 years. How are you making that decision?" So that's a little anger I had at watching that game. I think Ole Miss blows them out. I think the -9.5 line, I'm going over that. I think Ole Miss wins by 14 plus. I think Ole Miss is a good team. I don't think Kentucky's that good, but we've seen Kentucky give them problems. So it might be close, but I'm going Ole Miss.
I'm going Ole Miss, and I'm going to jump back up because I missed 1 game. It's a no-brainer, but I still got to jump back up. It's part of the pick'em. Appalachian State versus the Georgia Bulldogs, number 4 in the country.
Yeah, Georgia, obviously. I think Zach Branch looked good. Zach Branch looked good against who was it? It was the M. I can't think of their Marshall, yeah. He looked good against Marshall. I was thinking in there. So Georgia runs away with this one. We'll see how Gunnar Stockton looks the rest of the year, though.
Guys, I'm gonna pick UGA obviously, and for the UK Ole Miss game, I'm gonna go Ole Miss. I think UK went back to the old UK of the 1980s and 90s, and I feel bad for Coach Stoops, because I think he'll eventually be fired, unfortunately, because now it's not all about recruiting. It's about NIL, and I don't know how much Kentucky's invested in that NIL for football. So I think Coach Stoops has got one foot out the door and one foot in the door. I don't know how much longer he'll be at UK. East Tennessee State versus Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, like I mentioned, they impressed me. I mean, props to them for that win against Syracuse. I thought Joey Aguilar looked good, which I didn't expect. I wasn't a Joey Aguilar guy. I think,
I'm still not sold.
yeah, I mean, I'm not, I still think that UF gets them pretty easily in the swamp, but they look good. So I'll give them that. I think like you said, I'm not sold either. I think we need to see more. But I mean, this is a no-brainer. I'm going Tennessee, and I think they look good.
I'm going Tennessee because this is like Big Brother playing Little Brother, and if Joey Aguilar doesn't play good here, we have another cupcake on the schedule. Kansas versus Mizzou.
Yeah, this is my best game of the slate. I know I mentioned another one earlier, but this game I'm super excited to watch. I think Jalen Daniels. I've mentioned his age. He's a very old guy, but unlike Calzada, he plays like it. He has the experience. He plays like a vet. He looks like he knows what he's doing out there. I think Kansas's offense has looked phenomenal. And then on the other side, Missouri, who I had questions about, Bo Papula, sorry, weird name, Bo Papula. He looked really good in his debut. Obviously, it was against some nobodies, but he looked really good. I think they haven't even opened it up with Kevin Coleman yet. He had like 5 catches for 30 yards. I think that guy's a stud. So this is an awesome game. I'm going Missouri just because Pabula looks so good. Kevin Coleman's a really good player. I believe Ahmed Hardy, he balled out week 1. So I'm going with Missouri for that talent, but I think this game comes down to the wire. I think Kansas gives them a run for their money.
I had a hard time picking this, and I'm going to pick the upset just to pick the upset.
Ooh, I like it.
Kansas wins this game by 3.
What's the score prediction?
23-20.
Okay, I love it.
On a last-second field goal.
Ooh, I like it. I like it a lot.
Miami of Ohio at Rutgers.
Yeah, I'm going Rutgers. I mean, Ohio, speaking of teams from Ohio playing Rutgers, last week Ohio took Rutgers to the end there. I mean, Rutgers started blowing them out, and then Ohio stormed back into that game.
Yep,
Parker Navarro's a good quarterback, so I don't think Miami, Ohio has the same firepower. So I'm going Rutgers here, but it'll be an interesting one considering Rutgers struggled so mightily.
I'm going Rutgers on this one. No questions asked. Miami of Ohio is not on the level of Rutgers, unfortunately. Fresno versus Oregon State.
Yeah, this one, Oregon State looked tough last week. It was not even a close game. I was pretty excited to see Malik Murphy, who I've been a pretty big fan of in college football. He didn't play horrible. It looked like he was yelling at people on the sidelines. It looked like there's a little bit of a culture problem going on there. I'm still taking Oregon State. I like Malik Murphy too much. I think he turns that ship around. But it was an interesting one. We'll see.
I'm picking Oregon State. Fresno's hasn't been playing that well early in the season. G Webb versus Georgia Tech.
Yeah, 2. That was the game last week. I think I told you guys 2 scores. Georgia Tech was winning. And oh my gosh, did that game come down to the wire. I give credit to Colorado because they looked better than I expected. Georgia Tech was so sloppy. I think it was 3 straight drives at the start of the game with turnovers. That was ugly. But I still think that Georgia Tech's one of the better teams in the ACC. Give me Georgia Tech here, obviously. I mean, I have to apologize to the viewers for hyping them up that bad, and it coming down to the wire.
I'm gonna do Georgia Tech. I don't think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be Georgia Tech on this one. BGSU. versus Cincinnati.
Yeah, Bowling Green versus Cincinnati. I'm going Cincinnati here. I thought that Nebraska was gonna run away with that game, and Cincinnati gave them a run for their money. So mad respect for that. The run game for Cincinnati is good. I like Toaway Walker a lot, and he's second in the backfield to Pryor. So I'm going Cincinnati.
I'm going Cincinnati also on that one. Delaware at Colorado.
Yeah, like I mentioned a second ago, props to Colorado for looking good. A lot of people went on here and kind of said that Caden Salters didn't look good. I liked what I saw from him. I mean that he had zip on his passes. He had that deep pass was phenomenal. I think the run game surprised me a lot. Michael Welch, I believe it was running over dudes. He looked really good. I want to see Amarion Miller get used more. He only had that one big catch, but I'm going Colorado here. And personally, I gained a little more confidence in them going ahead in the season.
I'm going Colorado based on what I saw last week against Georgia Tech, and Delaware is just not at the level of Colorado. Even with Prime being 1 foot out, 1 foot in, I think it's a blowout. That's all I have to say on that one. Lynn versus App.
Yeah, I'm going App State. I don't know too much about these two teams, but I do know
I
that.
don't know too much either.
Yeah,
I'm going App State based on what I know, so App State it is. Texas State versus UTSA.
Yeah, I mean, if you asked me this question last week, I probably would have picked Texas State, but UTSA they look pretty solid. I mean, they gave Texas A&M a run for their money. Their running back looked pretty solid, so I'm going UTSA here.
I'm going UTSA also on this one, based on what we saw last week from them. University of Alabama Birmingham versus at Navy.
Yeah, I am going Navy. UAB just got taken to the wire by a school I can't even. I forgot their name already. Something like South Alabama, something like that. Respect to the South Alabama team. Their quarterback. I watched some highlights from that game. Their quarterback looked really good. He was running all over the field. But I'm going Navy here. I didn't think UAB looked too good.
I'm going Navy. I don't expect anything from UAB. UAB again is a top tier school, a top 2-tier school. Sorry, so I don't expect anything from them. I think Navy does the option all day long and puts them to sleep.
Yeah.
So
I'm scared to see. I'm scared to see how much rushing yards they get, considering last week.
Exactly. UNT versus WMU.
Yeah, I believe this is the North Texas game, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, I went North Texas here. They looked really impressive last week. I didn't watch too much of that game. Obviously, it's North Texas. Sorry, guys, I'm not watching that game. Exactly. But I did, see the stats. I did look into it a little. North Texas dominated. I'm going North Texas.
I'm going North Texas also, based on what I saw last week. SFPA versus Buffalo.
Yeah, I mentioned Buffalo earlier. I mentioned I wasn't too impressed with them, but they kept it close versus Minnesota. I think they have a good wide receiver in Victor Snow and a good running back, even though he didn't do too much work versus Minnesota. I'm going Buffalo.
I'm going Buffalo. I have nothing to say because I know more about Buffalo than the other one, so it's Buffalo it is. Bry versus UMass.
I just said UMass for the fun of it. I mentioned last time they were my team in Dynasty NCAA, so let's go UMass.
I'm going UMass too, because I don't know anything about the other school. MTSU versus Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin looked bad, man. They looked bad. Yep. They lost. I'll give them credit. They lost Billy Edwards in I think it was the first quarter, maybe second quarter, but they just looked really bad. That being said, I have to take them here, even though it kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not sure of Billy Edwards' health status. I know he's probably out for a while. That was a non-contact thing, but I'm still going Wisconsin.
I'm going to Wisconsin even with the injury. University of West Virginia versus Ohio.
This is my big upset. Give me Ohio here.
What?
And listen, I love the country road. Shout out to my guy. My guy Reese is a West Virginia guy. But Ohio, Parker Navarro, they've shown for a while now that they're a pretty solid team. Last year they were good. Parker Navarro's electric. I mean, we saw it versus Rutgers. They almost upset Rutgers. I think that West Virginia this year might be worse than Rutgers. I'm putting that out there. I mean,
Wow.
Jaheim White's a good running back, but I don't know. I'm going Ohio. Let's have some fun. Give me Ohio.
I'm going with the safe pick, West Virginia. It is UNI versus Wyoming.
Wyoming, yeah, I picked Wyoming here with not too much foundation other than
It's
I like Wyoming. It's a cool team.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah,
doing Wyoming because I don't have any information on this. USF versus our beloved Florida Gators, and we're favored by 17.5.
Yeah, here we go. This is a tough one. Just kidding, guys. I'm going to Gators. I think that the USF upset hype is going to be there this whole week. I mean, you saw them look good against a ranked team. I don't think Boise State is actually that good this year. I think that offense really relies heavily on running the ball, and they couldn't. Our offense relies heavily on running the ball, but I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to. I think that our run game is way above Boise State. And then as passer, I mean, DJ Lagway is so much better than Maddox Manson. No disrespect to the kid. DJ Lagway is special. I think that, USF, they had a great game. I respect them. I think that Florida takes this game pretty easily. If I was betting, would I take 17.5 over? I don't know if I bet Florida to cover just because I think it's a risky one just because we haven't seen them too much yet. But I think that this is an easy Gators win.
I think it's an easy Gators win, and people are going to call me for being a Disney Gator for what I'm about to predict. But I think it's Florida 42.
I can see it. I don't think that's too too crazy.
And guys, starting next week, since we start the SEC, the Florida game will be our last pick, and it will be the marquee matchup of the program going forward.
Yes,
Arkansas State versus Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm going Arkansas here. Taylor Green looked good last week. Taylor Green's a good quarterback. I don't necessarily think Arkansas is going to be a world beater this year, but I think they're a good football team. I'm going Arkansas.
I'm going Arkansas also. I don't expect anything from Arkansas State. Sac versus Nevada.
Yes, Sac State was, if you're a Gators fan, you were paying attention to that Sac State game because of a certain quarterback they have, and woof, he did not look very good.
Nope,
they did not look very good.
Nope, he didn't.
I think it was 20-3 against a program that they, considering they have Brennan Marion as head coach, he's a great offensive mind. They should not be scoring 3 points. I don't know what happened there. I'm going Nevada. I think, like I mentioned with Penn State, it wasn't necessarily a huge blowout against Nevada. I don't think Nevada was ever in that game, but it wasn't a huge blowout. So I'm going Nevada here.
I'm going Nevada because of what you mentioned. I was going to mention all the mess that was going on there too. Nevada it is. University of Jackson State versus University of Southern Miss.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give Jack State credit. They almost pulled off the upset against UCF in the bounce house. I love to see UCF struggle because I don't like UCF very much. I think, I'd rather USF be good than UCF be good. That's my personal opinion. I don't like USF very much, or UCF very much. That being said, Southern Miss has been a team that I've been high on since the start of the season. They didn't look good against Mississippi State. I'll admit that. They got blown out of the water. But I think they get it done here. I think they win by, quite a few points.
I'm picking Southern Miss. I don't expect Jackson State to put up a fight. So it's Southern Miss it is. CP versus number 25, Utah.
Yeah, give me Utah. I mentioned it when we were talking about the rankings. I think Utah is one of the better teams in the nation. I wouldn't say they're a top 10 team just yet, but I think they win their division, their conference, or at least they make it to that conference championship. I'm really high on Utah, so give me the Utes.
I'm doing Utah. There's no question. Texas Southern versus Cal.
Yeah, man, Cal's freshman quarterback. That he's got the nation's eye now. He was slinging that thing. I mean, that he was really impressive from what I saw. Give me Cal here. I'm excited to see. I had personally, when we talked about him the first time, I thought that they lost way too much talent to be very good, but they look nice, so I like it.
I'm doing Cal, no question. Missouri State versus Marshall.
Yeah, just give me Marshall here. I mean, might as well. The Georgia game, you can't really tell how good Marshall's going to be off of that matchup. So I'm taking Marshall here.
Marshall, too, for me. NCCU versus Old Dominion.
Yeah, I took Old Dominion just because they kept it close versus a ranked team, Indiana. So let's go with them. I think they can keep some momentum here and start winning.
I'm going Old Dominion because I don't know anything about NCCU, and based on you said they kept it close versus a ranked team, so I'm gonna piggyback off what you said earlier. Old Dominion it is. Cam versus the ECU.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier I watched the NC State versus ECU. That's like a huge rivalry. They had NC State on the ropes here and there. It was a really close game. I'm high on NC State, so just because they were able to take them, obviously it's a rivalry, so stuff's gonna happen. College football, crazy stuff happens. But from what I've seen, I'm taking them this week. They look pretty solid last week.
I'm doing ECU. There's not much to say there. FAMU versus FAU.
Yeah, I think this one's an obvious one in FAU. I was shocked to find that. I'm forgetting his name. He was a quarterback at the University of Florida. I believe his name was Lawrence Wright, and now he transferred to FAMU, and he's not even the starter there, which really shocked me.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought he was the guy for them. Maybe I missed something, but I guess not. I'm going FAU. I think their quarterback's a rock star. I like FAU.
I'm going FAU for the simple fact FAMU's never been good in football, at least playing decent teams. So FAU it is for me. Boston College versus number 5, your University of Miami Tropical Depressions.
Yeah, I'm not going to do any hyping up Miami here. I'm just going to say, give me Miami, but that's all I'm going to say about it.
All right, guys. Dylan had an upset earlier. Do I have an upset now based on what I saw in week 1 from the Tropical Depressions? Not so fast. I'm picking the University of Miami over Boston College.
I thought you were about to go. I think it's Bethune-Cookman.
It's Bethune-Cookman?
Yeah, Boston College would have been less crazy, but still crazy.
Yeah. No, Bethune-Cookman, no. It's University of Miami.
Yeah.
I read the college is wrong. Yeah, it's Bethune because I see the snake now. So
yeah. I was about to say you were going a little far there for me.
Yeah, no, I thought it was Boston College. That's what I was about to. But then I looked at the snake. I said, "That's not Boston College." South Carolina State versus South Carolina.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier I didn't think South Carolina looked that good, but this is an obvious win for them. I'm excited to see in the future with them. But yeah, this is an obvious win.
I'm going South Carolina. I don't see South Carolina State putting up a fight. This is a shocker to me that I'm even saying this. UNC versus CLT, but UNC laid an egg.
Ugh.
For Bill Belichick, after 1 touchdown, they didn't do anything else.
Wow, that was. I mean, it was fun for me because I love Josh Hoover. Josh Hoover's my guy. I think Josh Hoover has NFL potential.
Yep.
But they look bad. North Carolina, quite frankly, after their scripted drive where they scored a touchdown, they were awful. That being said, we're talking about Charlotte here. I'm taking North Carolina State, and I believe the spread is only something like 12.
Yes, it is.
I think they win by far more than 12. In my
So Bill Belichick wins game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy to watch him lose. I thought that Gio Lopez, at the start of the game at least, he looked pretty good. I don't know what happened there, but I'm taking North Carolina.
Guys, I think Bill Belichick will right the ship if he stays long enough. But I think it's going to be North Carolina for this game. I don't expect Charlotte to put up a fight. And I think Bill Belichick is finally 1-1 at the University of North Carolina, besides the fact he hates losing. So I don't know what to tell you. All I can say, it's going to be North Carolina. And guys, give me a second because, unfortunately, I lost the schedule one more time. But we're almost done. So we can watch Thursday Night Football.
I got to hear at the end, I got to hear your prediction about that game, Carlos.
Who do you guys play?
In my opinion, I think it's closer than a lot of people say. I know everyone's saying Eagles by a blowout. I'm not going to take Dallas. I'll take the Eagles, but I think Dak slings that thing around. We'll see.
Oh, it's Eagles Dallas? It's not you guys?
Eagles Dallas. No, we play on Saturday. We play, but I can't cheer for any team because I got to stick with my Giants. So those are my two rivals.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was you guys playing.
I wish we got till Saturday to see. Hey, upset.
You guys play Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday. Sorry, I don't know.
Sunday. I was about to say Saturday. What?
I'm used to the the Gators schedule here, so now I'm talking crazy. But watch Sunday. We're gonna upset the Commanders. That's my shot.
And who's your starting quarterback? Please tell me is Jackson Dart.
It's not Jackson Dart. We're going with Russ for now.
With Russell Wilson?
Yeah. He'll start for a couple weeks.
Does he have 2 canes with him already?
Hey, relax. He's a baller.
Let me get back to the schedule, but give me a second. Army versus Kansas State University.
Yeah, this one, if Army didn't, I believe Army lost to Tarleton State. Is that?
Yes.
I believe that happened.
Yes, they did.
If Army didn't do that, maybe I would be calling for them to win because Kansas State has looked so bad. I mean, week 1 they look solid. They lost to Iowa State and then they bounced back, only winning by like 3 points to a FCS school. It was bad. I'm still going Kansas State here. I will be interested to see if they can right this ship. I mean, they have the talent to, so I'll go Kansas State.
I believe they're playing so bad, they're going to only win by 10. So Kansas State it is. Houston versus Rice. This is an interesting matchup for me. I think it's going to be close.
Really? I'm sticking with my guys, Houston. I mean, I took Houston last week. I know I saw a couple people saying that they might lose that game. I think Connor Wegman, I was on the Connor Wegman train last year. It fell off the rails pretty fast, but I think he has a bounce back at Houston. I think Houston wins this one.
I still think it's going to be Houston, but I think it's going to be a tight game. No more than 17 points, but Houston takes it. ACAT versus UCF.
Yeah, this was another one where I was like, oh, okay, maybe I give the upset because UCF looked horrible. They looked really, really bad. I'll give them credit. They lost their starting quarterback in like the first quarter, but I mean, Taven Jackson, Ja'Cory Brown, anyone who's your starting, you brought in like 3 transfers and you got taken to the wire with Jack State. I think that UCF's not a very good team. I was impressed with Miles Montgomery. I'm going UCF here, but their season, Scott Frost better turn that thing quick or he might be gone sooner than we expect.
Wow. I'm taking UCF, but I do agree with your take. Scott Frost may already have a foot and maybe a whole leg out the door. And it's only week 2.
Yeah.
So, but UCF it is. Western Michigan versus Toledo.
Western Michigan or Western Kentucky?
Oh, sorry, Western Kentucky. I read it
Okay,
wrong.
I thought
Western.
I thought I remembered that it was Western Kentucky. This is
Yeah.
one. I mean, Toledo coming into the Kentucky game, I was a little high on them in a way that I thought they could push Kentucky. And, I shared my thoughts on Kentucky. They looked pretty bad, in my opinion. Toledo looked worse. I thought they did not look good at all. So I'm going with my guys, Western Kentucky. I mean, Maverick McIver is a ball player. We saw that week 1.
Mhm.
That guy can sling the ball. Western Kentucky might be on their way to a really good year. I like Western Kentucky.
I agree with you. I pick Western Kentucky. UNCO versus Colorado State.
Yeah, I just went Colorado State here. A simple one. I think just Colorado State.
Colorado State for me. Memphis versus Gast.
Give me Memphis. Pretty clear.
Memphis it is for me too. Tulane versus USA, and I don't know what that stands for.
I can't remember, but I do know that Tulane is winning this game. Tulane looked good, man. Jake Retzloff, I personally was questioning if he's gonna play because such a weird situation where he kind of just walks on to the program because he got kicked out of BYU or he left BYU. But he looked really good. I think Tulane's in for a really good year with him at quarterback. I'm going Tulane.
I'm going Tulane also. LIU versus Eastern Michigan University, the one I called earlier, which wasn't the one I was supposed to.
Listen, this is another one of my upsets. I am giving respect to the Sharks. We saw them in the
No way!
I'm
He's calling
giving
an
them
upset.
respect. Now, am I confident that this is going to happen? No, I am not confident at all.
Okay, I was about to say.
But after watching the film, Long Island gave our O-line trouble. Long Island, their offense was awful, but you got to give credit to our defense, which is, I believe, top 10 in the nation potential. So I give Long Island a lot of credit. I think they showed me that they can go out and win some games this year. I think this is one of them. Give me the upset here. Give me the Sharks.
Wow, I'm not taking the upset. I'm going Eastern Michigan. I'm playing it safe there. La Tech versus number 3 LSU.
Yeah, give me LSU. LSU this year looks good. I came into the year thinking they were going to look good. I kind of let off the gas a little bit with them. I was like, oh, I think Clemson gets them. But, man, they look good. That cornerback, Mansour Delane, wow, that guy is scary. I am worried when we go up against him. I think that defense, I question if that defense is as good as it looked just because I think Cade Klubnik wasn't on his game exactly. I don't think he was, I think DJ Lagway will have more success against that defense. But LSU is one to watch for a national contender this year. I'm going LSU.
I'm going LSU. La Tech doesn't stand a chance. The real season begins next week. Arizona State versus Mississippi State, and Arizona State is number 12.
Yeah, give me ASU here. Jordan Tyson, man. I said it on the last show. He's the second best wide receiver in the nation.
Yep.
He comes out week 1. What was it? 140 yards, 2 tutties.
Yep.
I mean, that guy.
Yep.
That guy is special. He's in for an incredible year. I thought it was odd that Kanye Udo didn't do so well, but it was first game of the season. We'll see as that goes. I don't think the Cowbells get going. I think it's ASU.
And I have an upset coming soon.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to pull one here.
Nope. ASU it is. Michigan versus Oklahoma.
Yeah, this one was a tough one to pick too because, I mean, Michigan, I was super happy that they decided to go Bryce Underwood. I think that was the right call. I think they're a team that if they do come out here and win this game, we start looking at them way differently. I think, they're ranked highly, but I don't think a lot of people in the nation are considering this team, someone that can go to the college football playoffs, go win a game in the college football playoffs. If they win this game, the whole conversation shifts. That being said, I think, John Mateer, he put up the stats last week. He didn't look amazing. I think he missed some stuff that he could have, hit. That being said, Oklahoma has a lot of talent. John Mateer, I think, will be better this week. It's a big one. I think it will come down to the wire, but give me Oklahoma here.
I'm doing. Oh, this is crazy. This one's hard to call, man. I'm gonna stick. I'm gonna stick with Oklahoma. SEC school.
Yeah, give it to the SEC.
Yep. Ball. State versus Auburn.
Yeah, I got to give my guys Auburn credit. I mean, I said that I was going against, the SI site that, I write for sometimes. I don't write for as much as, but I still write for it. They look good. I think my questions weren't necessarily answered because we didn't get to see Jackson Arnold swing the ball. He really just ran, and I don't think that's going to be successful long term. But mad respect for Auburn. We haven't seen the best of Cam Coleman yet. I think this could be a game where he really turns it up. Give me Auburn here.
I'm doing Auburn too. I'm trying to look at the line from one of the games. Vandy versus Virginia Tech.
Yeah, this one I'm pretty confident in Vandy here. I think I mentioned it with the South Carolina game. I don't think Virginia Tech. I like Kyron Drones. I think the idea of Kyron Drones is better than the actual product that we see on the field. I think he's exciting, but I don't think he gets it done. Give me Pavia. Give me the Vandy boys. Cedric Alexander on the ground. He's an absolute stud. Eli Stowers in the past game. I think Vandy, quite honestly, runs away with it.
I was gonna call this an upset, but he said Vandy, so I'm gonna say Vandy myself. Vandy it is. I think the Vandy boys are better than what many people expect, and I think they'll eventually be ranked in the top 25.
I agree.
Next, AKR versus Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm going Nebraska here. I think that Nebraska was one of the teams that I thought could take a huge step this year and be really good. After week 1, I no longer think that, respectfully. They didn't wow me. They didn't excite me. I think Dylan Raiola didn't look any better than he looked last year. You want to see him take a step. I think he didn't wow me at all. I expected him to take the next step. I had high expectations for him. I don't think he came through, but I'm still taking Nebraska here. I just need to see more for them in the long term.
I'm taking Nebraska on this one. Yazoo versus USC.
Yeah, give me USC. This one's pretty obvious. Give me USC.
Give me USC too. BC versus Michigan State.
Yeah, this one's going to be a fun game. I think Michigan State didn't look as dominant as I wanted them to last week. Childs looked better, though, in my opinion. I mean, the stats didn't necessarily back it up, but I thought Aiden Childs looked way more confident. I thought he looked way more accurate. I thought he looked like a better passer. The wide receivers, the transfer, where did he transfer from? I believe Tennessee he transferred from. He looked really good. They were spamming him with targets. Give me MSU here. I think they're going to have a good year this year.
I'm picking the upset on this one. BC versus wins the game, and they win it by 10.
By 10. Wow, okay. I like it.
SIU versus Purdue.
Yeah, just give me Purdue here. I think Purdue, they got it done on the road not on the road. Sorry, they got it done last week pretty strongly. Give me Purdue here.
I'm doing Purdue. CHSD versus CCU.
I'm not gonna lie, this is a round where I was just like, who knows?
Enough research.
Yeah, so I'll go with say those names again.
Yeah, CHSD versus CCU.
Give me CCU. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I don't think
I'm gonna ride with Dylan on this one because I don't know any of them. So CCU it is.
Oh my goodness. We need Tyler back, man.
Exactly. And I tried to get him as the emergency guy, but he couldn't come through. University of Louisiana Monroe versus Alabama.
Yeah, we saw Bama. I don't know. I think Bama. This might be the board might be done here this year. I think they have to turn it around, and they have to turn it around quick because that schedule is not very easy. That being said, this is an easy win. I think Bama gets it done.
I believe Bama gets this done. Louisiana and Monroe has not been good since I've been a college football fan, and that's a long time. So it is Alabama. UCLA versus Crybaby Dan Mullen and the UNLV Rebels.
Yeah, this is an exciting one. I mean, last week, the last 2 weeks, I watched all of UNLV's games.
I didn't watch it last week, but did they win?
They did win. They won pretty solid, actually. I thought I expected it to be closer. Sam Houston looked awful. I will admit that. They looked really bad. But UNLV got it done. Anthony Calandria, honestly, in my opinion, he reminds me, my college comp of him is Diego Pavia, just because he's an exciting quarterback that no one saw coming, and he's kind of balling out, man. I'll give him credit. I want to pick UNLV here just because they're exciting. I'm obviously not a Dan Mullen fan, but I like what I've seen from them. That being said, UCLA is just so much more talented. UCLA didn't look good at all versus Utah, but I think they get back on track here. I don't think UNLV's defense is nearly as good as Utah's. I don't think UNLV's offense is nearly as good as Utah's. Give me UCLA here.
So Dan Mullen suffers loss number 1.
Yeah, 2-1. It's still a good start for him, but
okay.
I don't see him coming.
I'm going with UCLA. I'm not picking Dan Mullen. MCN versus University of Louisiana.
Yeah, Louisiana looked bad last week. I hyped them up. I hyped up the Walker Howard return train, and it was a close game. I don't think they did too well. I'm still rocking with Walker Howard. Well, give me them. Give me the Howard train.
Okay, I'm doing Louisiana myself. TLSA versus New Mexico State University.
Yeah, just give me New Mexico State University. I'm not going to spend too much time on these two teams because I don't think anyone really cares.
Give me New Mexico State University also on that one. I'm not spending any time. I don't know any. I know New Mexico State. The other one. UTM versus UTEP.
Give me UTEP. I didn't pay attention. I don't even know if they won last week. I
didn't watch that game either. So
yeah, but give me UTEP. I'm going basing it off the last week. Give me Malachi Nelson. Give me UTEP.
Give me UTEP also. Webb versus Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona. I got to give credit to Arizona. I thought Hawaii. I don't know if I picked Hawaii. I'm a big Hawaii guy. They blew Hawaii out the water, man. That was not a good game. Give me Arizona. You picked
Hawaii.
I did? Oh, man. Yes. That was a tough one for me. I ended up not doing too well. Noah Fafita, I love that guy. He's a really good quarterback. Give me Hawaii. Give me Arizona. Sorry.
I'm taking Arizona. South Dakota State University versus Washington State University.
Yeah, give me Washington State. I thought they didn't look too good either last week. Zevi Ekos, I thought was going to be the next guy. They won like 14-7. They should have blown that team out the water. So, I mean, give me Washington State, but I need to see more from them.
Washington State it is for me. Stanford versus BYU, and this is the marquee matchup for the 10 o'clock games, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because if BYU had Retzloff still, BYU blows Stanford out here. Bear Bockenmeyer didn't look elite, but he looked comfortable from what I heard. I'm going BYU here. I think shout out to Stanford's run game. I don't know how much of that was Hawaii not being too good on the run defense, but Michael Ford looked really good. That being said, I don't think they're a very good team. I'm taking BYU.
Stanford cost me week 0 game. I put my name behind the brand, and I should have listened to Dylan and gone with Hawaii. But BYU it is.
Yeah, so listen, Hawaii didn't turn out too well for me either last week. So
UCD versus Washington. Yeah, I understand about Hawaii last week, but they blew out Stanford, and I didn't think it was happy.
Washington looked really I mean, it was a close game, but they look good. I love Demond Williams. I love Denzel Boston. Give me Washington by a lot.
Washington blows out this team. And the last game for this week, SHSU versus Hawaii.
My guys, I think I will be picking Hawaii till I die, if it's the death of me or not. I mentioned Sam Houston looked awful against UNLV. They did this weird thing where, they had Hunter Brown, he's a solid quarterback. They take him out to play Marbury, something like that. He throws a pick six, one of the worst. You've probably seen the video because it was a terrible throw.
Yes.
Pick six. They're not a good team. They don't know what they're doing right now. Hawaii had a rough game versus Arizona. I'm still a Hawaii fan. Mike Alejado, till I die. Give me Hawaii by a lot here. I think the spread is crazy. I think it's like -10 maybe.
It is.
Hawaii's blowing that out. Hawaii might beat them by 25-30.
I'm gonna ride with Dylan on this one. It's Hawaii. Fam, where can they find you? Where can they find your work? I appreciate you every day you're on with me. I appreciate the support of the channel. I appreciate Gators SI. Where can they find you? And like always, we'll always be working together. I love working with you, and I have much love for you and the wifey. But where can they find you?
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, Carlos. I love being on here, man. I'm excited to get back on Monday or Tuesday and talk. Hopefully, good news. Hopefully, we see Florida blow these guys out the water here. Yes. You can find me on Gators on SI, obviously, with my guys Cam Parker, my guy Tyler Carmota, all those guys. Harrison, shout out. You can find me at DylanOlive_UF on Twitter. I'm dropping articles almost every day. I try to drop some Gators content there all the time. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everyone, and go Gators.
Guys, next week I'll start dropping PFF grades. I didn't want to drop PFF grades. I was going to ask Dylan to give me the PFF grades, but we played LIU. Now we can start dropping you real PFF grades starting this game and from now on, so you guys can see the difference as we go into the SEC schedule. Follow my guy Dylan. Follow Cam Parker. Follow Tyler Carmona. Follow the whole Sports Illustrated Gators SI team. They do awesome work. And like always, stay positive, stay on your grind, and go Gators. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.